Ready?
Yep.
Awesome. So for me, most important thing is a consult, and I think it's the one area that most trainers miss or don't get enough information from. So I always explain it as if I'm referencing to the normal gyms, like most trainers. And I think with this consultation, I always say there's 7 steps, and it's like a game of baseball. You have to go through each step to get your home run. So I'm like, you've got to cover these. So the first thing is like the way you do a consultation. Imagine you're doing it for someone else. So you want to get that much information, like we do at number 1. I get the client signed up, and I've got all the information. I leave my voice note. I'm like, this is Jane. This is their goals. This is what stopped them. This is why they're really doing it. This is what they like. This is their bad experience before. And I literally go through everything. So the trainer knows the person without actually speaking to them. They just call them up and say that I've been assigned to you, really excited, heard your goals and stuff, ready to get going. So I want you to think, imagine you're doing it for someone else, you want that much information, you should just be able to pass it over to them. The other thing that, the reason why you're doing this is, like, obviously you're trying to close them to sign them up as a client, but you also need to establish, or get them to establish, why are they training with you. So you're effectively, you're selling yourself, but you're doing more than that. You're finding out a lot of information about them. You're showing that you're listening, and you're gonna help them through care, through just interest. But straight away, the money aspect that we spoke about earlier, that shouldn't really be a factor, because you've understood how important their goal is. And if it's gonna, I always say, if you look at it rather than just the small goal that they might initially say, I would say if you start talking about how it impacts their life, their family, all that sort of stuff, then it's like how much value is that to them? So when it ever gets to price, you want to try to take them back then to why are they here? Like, get the real reasons. And I always talk about this, like their why. So this is what we're going to dig in today. So go through the steps first of all. We're going to go through 6 of them today. So I always say the first one is the intro, like why are you doing a consultation? The second one is goals, and I say in brackets, dig, dig, dig. It's where you're going to spend most of your time, but you just want to find out that why they're here and understand what does that actually mean. The next one, I always say previous/current exercise history, so find out what they've done before, what they're currently doing. The next one, I say nutrition and lifestyle, so get an understanding of, I guess, like what they're currently having, but like where they see their problem is. And what you're starting to, again, add value is, as a coach, you're going to look at all areas. You're not just giving fitness, you're understanding where can I get quick hacks from them doing stuff on their own without me needing to be there all the time. I'm just coaching them through it. The next one is sleep, and with that comes stress. So simple 2 questions ask them, and then you'll see quite a lot of information will come out of that. So they're kind of like, right, I've covered all base points within that, and there's subsections that we're going to. The next one then is the presentation. So that's kind of, why are they training with you? So you've got.
So what's number 6?
So you've
the
got
stress.
No, 6 is the presentation, and 7 is the close. So you can do the best presentation in the world. Just put that aside. You can do the best presentation in the world. You can do like the best building rapport, and like everything goes well, and all of a sudden, this is how much it is. It's like shit. And I always say it's a completely different like sit down that we'll go through. But I think a few things is you've really understood why they want to change, and once you get to the price, it's that kick in. It's nothing to do with the price. Sometimes I think it's that reality is just kicked into them to think, shit, I need to actually change now. I need to change it up what I'm doing, and that's the scary thing. And that's where they're just excuses. It's nothing to do with, if you really find out and show like how much you want to help them, and you tell them at the end, I would love to train you. Like, I'm excited about what we've discussed. Like you're building rapport with them, but it's that fear of I've got to get out of my comfort zone. So there's ways that we tackle that as well. But I always say leave that one for now. Let's get the core of it, because I'd say 85% of the time, if you get this right, it's an easy sell. It's not even a sell. It's based on what you've told me and how important it is. This is what I advise to start with. We're going to work together. It's a partnership, all this sort of stuff. But this is what it is. But I'll come on to that anyway. So we go back then to the intro. So the intro is the most important thing to start with, because I'm not sure how it works here. Do you give clients a free session? Do they?
So some clients, some trainers charge and some trainers don't charge, because some of them, with their background and just the education they have, they feel like this is priceless.
Yeah.
So they charge, and some just like, hey, we'll do a free consultation.
Do you have a preference for yourself?
I do a free consultation for me. Yeah.
So I encourage that every single time as well. And even with the coaching stuff, I'm like, I need to show them the value, because I know if once they get that in there, they're going to be with me for a long time.
Right.
But I also think if you're charging for something they don't know, there's a barrier straight away. And like the idea is you're kind of giving your trust, and they're putting trust in you as well. As soon as you put that price tag on it, straight away it's going to put people off to start with. So I would recommend, and I think it's a good approach. But the consultation that we do is purely sit down. It doesn't have to be a
workout. Got it.
At all. Like back home we do 30-minute consultations. That's normally how this takes. 30 to 45 minutes. It doesn't need to be no more than that.
My consultations are sit down and then we do movement. I see how they move and so forth. Not necessarily do like a workout.
I was going to say, and that I like the idea of it because you're giving value. They don't need to. That's what you're charging for. That is your time. That is your expertise. So, and this is where the intro comes back in, because people expect to come in for a free session. People expect to come in for a workout. So I refer to the gyms. This is what normally happens in our industry. They join up in the gym, and the gym will give 2 free PT sessions. Or in a place like this, some trainers will give a free gym workout. Like, really, if you break it down to the simplest form, to lose weight, which a lot of people want to do, you need to train, move more, eat better. So within that free session, it's like, how can you be different to every other trainer? Then you start doing stuff that doesn't need to be done within the session, because that's not necessarily what you would do going forward. So it's like, I find people try too hard, make it so fancy, because that's the sell, that's the thing that's going to attract them. But that's not really what they do normally. So I'm like, right, explain that intro, explain why you're doing a consult. So I phone them up and just say, see you booked in for a free session, or in your case, we're going to get you in for a consultation first. Mention how it's the most important thing. Most trainers don't even do this, and I normally reference that as well, because straight away they're like, yeah, you're right, my last trainer didn't do that. And then when I meet them in person, I say the same again. For me, it's the most important part, and you'll see this later on. We're going to dig deep and really understand what your goals are. I can't write you a program, I can't do anything until we've had this discussion. Another thing that I feel trainers do wrong, again my opinion, is send a questionnaire out. Ahead
of time. Got it.
Because you get them to fill it in, but how many times have you had something you fill in, and how long do you really spend filling it in? So their attention will be TV, kids, family, work. Oh fuck, I've got my thing tomorrow, fill it in.
Yeah.
It's not as powerful as what I'm asking questions, but from that one answer, which you'll see in a minute, we're going to keep digging, because you're going to find that it's very different to what they put down on that paper.
Got it.
And people won't really admit to you that they don't know you, their real reason why. They're not going to admit that on a piece of paper. So for me, I don't think that works. And then when you're going into the online coaching, again, if you can somehow streamline it where it is the consultation process, straight away you're offering something that no one else does. This is what it all starts for. This is my foundation, this is my methodology. It's I'd really be proud of it, but it sets the tone. And it's like there's no negotiation, this is what we're doing. The other thing is, imagine if you are given a free workout. I always say the good trainers are always, well, they own the session. They're always in control of your client. This is what could happen. So you get them on the bike, they're on there, what's your goals? Tone up, lose weight. So the trainer now thinks, right, tone up, lose weight, let's go. They're looking at them, thinking, right, tone up, lose weight, what I think you need, rather than what you think, or what that you actually want. If you ask 100 people what tone up means, every answer will be different. If you ask people what lose weight means, every answer is different.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. So you need to find out what that means. So again, going back to owning the session, imagine giving them lunges and they're like, no, I can't do that. I ruptured my MCL about 3 months ago. You're going to be like, ugh. And then they go, and you can do this, this and this. All of a sudden they're dictating the session. You're not in control anymore. Consultation, have you had any injuries before? Yeah, I did my MCL about 3 months ago. Great, write it all down. You don't even need to know about it. You go away, research it, come back 3 days later on their first session, you've got the plan, you're in control. So you kind of set the tone. And finally, this is a chance, so you're doing this business because you love it. You want to make sure that you're the right person to train them.
Right.
So the way I always approach it is, I say, first of all, we're going to find out your goals. For me, the most important thing. Most trainers won't even do this, but you'll see why it's so important. I need to get a good understanding of how I can map out your training going forward. But I want to make sure that, in my case, I'd say, I want to pair you with the right trainer. I want to make sure you're matched up. In your case, if it's just one-on-one, I want to make sure that I'm the right trainer to train you. And if I'm not, don't worry. I've got a team of trainers that you're going to train them most of the time anyway. But there might be a client where you don't want to train them. They might want to just do Olympic weightlifting. Let them have someone else. But how much does that set the tone? It's like, I'm listening to you. If I'm not right, I'm going to pair you with someone who is. Straight away, I'm not trying to sell to you anymore. Whereas on a free session, they're fucked at the end of the session. And you're like, do you want to buy a session?
Right.
They're like, their mind's not actually focused on it. And it's like, I just don't think that approach works well. And you'll see, ever since we've spent more and more on this consult, the more experience you get of it, it doesn't feel uncomfortable asking for payments. This is what I recommend. And if you don't, I recommend this, but if you can't afford this package, don't worry, we can drop down to this one. But I'm going to do programs on top, or I'm going to do other stuff. So I recommend what I really think they need, and then from there we can go with the different pricing structures and stuff. But again, that's another conversation, because we've got to try to find out what your model looks like and stuff as well. So you're setting the expectations straight away, but straight away it's like, oh, this is quite good. Like, they're actually going to ask questions. Haven't had that before. They've said they're going to match me with it. It's like you'll see this whole barrier just comes to relax. And I get people come in, the first thing they say to me, hey, exercise. So I'm like, imagine in the free session, hey, exercise, get on the bike. I don't like the bike. Like, it's, I always say it's all about them. So I've got a few rules on the consultation. The client is never wrong. Even if they say something, I want to lose like 20 pounds in 4 weeks. Don't correct them. Don't say anything to them to start with. I want to build muscle, burn fat. No, you can't do that. Don't say that stuff to start with. You're listening to them, because straight away they might have this belief, and you're like, no, that's not right. Straight away you're like arguing with them.
Right.
They're not. They're going to put the barriers straight up again. So it's all about listening. I always say with coaching as well, listen, and you will catch yourself doing it. Don't interrupt them. And don't fill in the answer. You know when they're just about to say something and you'll go, and your answer, it's not what they want to say. So I always say, imagine you're a stone with ears. So there's no face expression, no eyes or anything, you're just listening. And you're there at the forum. Honestly, there's some stuff I talk about, just holding the space and silence, so powerful. But that for me is key. It's like, I'm there, I'm listening to them, and I'm actually engaging with them. And that could be as much as you need to do. Some people waffle on quite a lot, so you can lead it after a while, but let them get it out. Remember, we're peeling this onion. We're getting into the deeper levels. So I always make the emphasis on the intro so important, because they might expect a free session. If they expect the free session, this is the free session. This is why it's so important. After you reaffirm it, it's like, look, you see why it's so important? They're like, oh. Most people will say stuff as well as their goal. That's not their goal. They don't know what their goal is. They just, and I'll come on to examples of that as well. Okay, so then we go on to the meaty bit. So it's the goals, dig. So you get about seven answers normally. Lose weight, burn, lose weight, build muscle, get fit, tone up. Then you might have someone that's had injuries, they're trying to get back into it. You get random requests like increase my core, improve posture. You'll get some people, so I'd start it with like, just tell me your goals. So why are you here? And just let them talk. Some people go, wow, and they tell you their whole life story. Like, whoa. Some people just straight direct, I want this.
Yeah.
Other people say, I've got, I don't know, a wedding coming up, 12 weeks, I need to get in shape for it. Get in shape doesn't mean anything. So what we need to do is write them all down, and you go and tack each one by one. And find out what it means. So we'll go through a number of different scenarios, but what common ones do you normally get when you speak to people?
Tone.
Yeah.
Lose weight. Look good in a bikini. look good naked, better posture.
But all very similar,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And they're just like 5 words that people use, but like once you start digging, they're all so different, and the reasons why. So I've had ladies come in, want to tone up, lose weight. What does that mean? What does that mean? It got so to the point where it's like, I'm too embarrassed to take my kids swimming. We're going on holiday soon, and I'm embarrassed to get in the pool, and I hate that feeling. That's what tone up means to that person. Now I know the real.
So how do you dive deeper
Yeah,
into
so
that?
that's what we're going to do. So let's take lose weight to start with. This is what a lot of people. So what do you mean by lose weight? Questions that you ask. What do you mean by that? How would you measure progress? So this consultation, I always say it's a journey of the client. So the idea of this consultation, you're gathering all this information. So when you do your first session, you're going to do like your assessments and measurements based on what their goals are. How are you going to show them that they're making progress? So lose weight, when you dig deep, how would you know that you've lost weight? So they might have a number to start with. So we've got scales. How else would you know I've lost weight? My clothes, my bikini. Now it's like, right, weight, scales, clothes size, look, my stomach, visual, photos. Like they might have a circumference measurement, etc. Now I've got like lose weight is 5 ways of measuring. A client only gets results when you show them progress. We've got to find as many ways as possible of measuring progress. So the lady you mentioned earlier, like she said, I'm not losing weight, I'm not losing weight. What has been successful for her? Because we bring it back to the simple terms. You haven't trained in 4 years, you're coming in consistently 4 times a week now. That's amazing. Your sleep, you're improving on that. You told me how bad it was before, you haven't even mentioned that. And you're highlighting all the areas that are changing, because people don't focus on any of the other stuff. Again, they've got this thing, lose weight, lose 10 kilos. So until 10 kilos is lost, effectively they're failing. And that's why it's like, oh, it's not working, because all they're focusing on may be one or the mirror. But that's not, like, that's just one component. They might have not lost 10 kilos yet, but now they're coming in regularly, their energy's better, they're sleeping better, their clothes actually fit better. Like, you've got to highlight all of them. That's the key. So this consult sets you up for session 1 of how you, and that's your starting thing, you're always going to reference back to that. And you can reference back to the most simple things, but all of a sudden it gets them stopping and thinking, fuck, you're right. Like, I have improved, I feel fit, I'm lifting more. That keeps them coming, that keeps them motivated. I use January as a analogy, but New Year's resolution. Everyone goes for a month and then they stop at the end of the month. I'm like, why did you stop? Didn't get any results. How was you measuring progress? I could just see it, I could just feel it. Feel is not a good way of measuring, because if you're having a shit day, you look shit, you feel shit. Like, it's not a good enough form of measuring. Using the mirror, you're a different person every time you look into it, so that's not a good form. You always want better. So we need concrete starting points to work with. Okay, so if anyone says that, first of all, what do you mean by lose weight? And usually they come back with, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to lose this. If anyone says, I want to get below 21% body fat, if anyone says numbers to you, where's that number come from? Ask them, because some people just plot these numbers out of thin air. So if they look, I want to lose 10 pounds, where's that number come from? When I was 10 pounds lighter, that was when I was at my best. So I say, okay, so if we was to get you to the best in 3 months' time, put it in the head, if you was at your best and you've lost 10 pounds, apart from the scales, what other changes would you notice? Get them to tell you how they're really measuring it. My stomach would be so much better. I'm thinking, right, there's a visual one. My clothes that I can't get back into now, they're now starting to fit. I know what their drivers are now, but the way they're measuring is just maybe this or the scale. Does that make sense? So you're kind of breaking, like, what's the real reason they're coming in? What does lose weight mean to them? So the woman, when we got down to that one, I want to just feel good when I go in the pool. How would you know you felt good? Like, what does that look like? Well, I wouldn't have all these fat bit here. Fat loss. Bikini. Like, she has to see it. And you'll see when we go to how we did the presentation, like, you're using this as your ammo to explain why you're going to get results. So, numbers, where's that number come from? If they can't tell you, say, okay, if you lost that number, or if you got below 10% body fat, what does that look like? I've got 10%, normally percentages, it doesn't mean anything. Like, if you're at 10%, why do you want to get there? I want to see my abs. Okay, so abs is the key. That's what they want. They don't need the number. They could be 15%, but their abs are there. So we need to show them abs. You'll get ladies, when I get my cellulite, when you're measuring progress, that needs to be out.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see that. They need to see it, that it's changing. Because otherwise they wear shorts, trousers, but every time they go home and look in the mirror, they're like, it's not working, it's not working, and they miss the bigger picture. Okay, so go find out, ask them how would they measure progress. So how would you know you've lost weight? Or how would you measure tone up? What does that actually mean? Well, my arms. And then so if they say their arms, okay, well how would you know your arms are better? Like, how would you know? Well, I can see it. Again, visual. So you're trying to break it down like that. So then you'll get things like, I want to get fit. A lot of people say that. What does get fit mean? I want to be able to start running. Do you like running? No. Why would you want to run then? But people just say these words. So they say, how else would you know you've got fit? Normally, straight away, it's automatic. I want to run up the stairs without getting tired. They're the things they say, but how else? Well, you know what, like my husband's doing all these 10k runs and stuff and I can't do it. I'd like to just be able to complete a 10k run. And then in my head it's like, that's the goal. That is all we're working towards. You don't have to go complicated. Mm-hmm. I had one woman that come in and she threw out all these goals. Like, first of all, I want to tone up. What does that mean? Oh, I want to lose weight. What does that mean? Oh, my core, I want to build. What does that mean? I want to get fit. I was like, how would you know you've got fit? It's like, I'm turning 50. I just want to train.
Got it.
So, okay, what do I have to do as a trainer? If her goal is, I just want to train, what do I have to do to meet a goal? Just make her train. I don't have to lose weight because that doesn't mean anything to it. So now it's like a successful trainer, well, 3 times a week this week. Have you done that? After 1 week, amazing, you've smashed it, you're doing 3 a week. Next week, let's do the same again. Boom. What else can we do? So we're doing 3 with me. Well, I could go for a walk with my kids. Great, put that in the diary. Have you done that? Boom. So each week you're setting them up for success. Mm-hmm. Imagine if she said this random number of weight loss. That's not really a goal because we didn't dig, but like until that number happens, say it's 20 kilos, you're nowhere near it. Every session you come in, you're nowhere near it because that's not really a drive.
Right.
So break it down and make your job easier. So you get people say, I'm stressed. Well, what would help with your stress? Oh, my sleep and da-da-da. Let's go and focus on sleep as one of the strategies. Like, don't worry about all this. Let's see how we do that. Let's track it. We're creating awareness. How much are you actually sleeping at the moment? I might say 4 hours every night. The fact that they tracked it, the next week, guarantee it'll be higher, just the fact they're aware of it. Mm. So we're creating awareness on all this stuff as well. And again, it's creating awareness of how they would know they're getting results. What other ones? You get posture. How would you measure progress for that? And like people just say, yeah, but they don't know. So it's like, if I'm just guessing, it'd be like this. Yeah. That they might not say that. So it's like, they say, I want to be able to touch my toes. Why would you want to do that? They can't answer it. So again, we come away from, you start realising that isn't really their goal, but they've just been told or they just think they need to sit in that one. Are you in pain? Yes. Okay, then we can go and address that one. But some people will say this stuff, I want to improve my core. What does that mean? And it's like, I want to be able to do Pilates without getting tired. I need to go and do Pilates. Like, if that's their real goal, go and do Pilates. Like, I can help do that. I want to get strong. This is a good one. A lot of females say, I want to get strong. In my head, deadlifts, pull-ups, rows. Ask a female, like, what do you mean by get strong? And they'll say stuff like, I want to do a full press-up. I want to do a pull-up. Like, so now my training program, what am I going to give them? Pull-ups, press-ups. I'm just giving them what they want, rather than just thinking what I think strength is. Again, strength can mean so many different things. Give them what they want. Analogy I always use. Imagine I'm a waiter, you're a customer, and I come in, I say, what do you like for dinner? And you're like, I'll have the burger, please. I look you up and down, I come out with a salad. You'll be pissed off, right? That for me is PT. They tell you what you want, but you give them something else. Right. A good coach, give them what they want. Bring out the burger. And then this is where the coaching comes in. I've seen you've had a burger the last few weeks. Here's a salad as well, I want you to try it. So you're teaching them maybe your methodology, rather than correct it. Then they see the benefits from it, and they're like, oh, I like that. The next time they come in, I'll have the salad, please. It comes from them, not you. That's the same with coaching. I might see that they're really lacking on thoracic rotation. They're just jammed up. Their goal is to lose weight. Right, we're going to work on the thoracic and da-da-da-da. They're like, fix this. If I'm working to their key goal first, give them what they want, but within the rest and recovery, I might give them some thoracic exercises and say, see how that feels. And they'll be like, oh. When you're at home, try them exercises before you come to the workout next time. And you'll see they'll do that stuff whilst we're still focusing on their goals. Yes, get strong is a good one. Then you get people say, I want to get fit, lose weight, tone up. They might say all three of them. So you go through each one individually, break it down, just ask them the same sort of questions. I'll send you like common questions that I ask anyway. And then ask them, you said three of them, in order of priority, what's the most important? So they might say, I've just recovered from an injury, like broken my ankle, so I want to get better, I want to lose a bit of weight, and they said the ankle first. I could be doing that whole session on the ankle, and they want to lose weight. So ask them the order of importance first, because that's where you need to go to, or that's the way you talk to them. So you always reference back to them, because look at the movement training. Movement training could be great for rehab, it could be for joint motion, it could be great for burning calories. If their goal is weight loss, this is great for burning calories. Not this is great for your thoracic extension and that sort of stuff. You just talk to them in their language. You'll also then get people that say, want to build muscle and get ripped. It's very difficult to do the two. To build muscle, you need to eat a lot more. That's going to take a long time. So you need to try and find out, like, what does that mean? How would you know you've done both? And they'll say, I just want to stack to my holiday. In my head, it's like, right, they want to lean up. That means we're reducing calories, we're increasing intensity. If they know they're in it for the long run, then you coach them through it. It's going to take a longer time, but this is what the process is. You're telling them the journey. And you'll say to start with, you might even put on fat, but that's not the goal to start with. But don't worry, when we get to this point in this month, that's where the presentation comes in as well. So you're always in control, and they know. Because otherwise, if they want both, you haven't explained to them, and they see their body fat's going up all the time, they're going to be like, it's not working, it's not what I asked for. If you told them, they expect it. Okay, so you're breaking them down. So the next thing is, when do you want these results by? And another question you can always ask, what's made you come in today? Why now? Like, get them to tell you. They might have been told by their husband that they're fat, and really their goal is to impress them. It could be something like that. So I'm always like, why now? My parents have just died, I need to really focus on the health now. Cool. Again, when I talk to them, I use that as their driver. Look what's just happened, like, come on, the kid. You've got your holiday coming up, like, sort it out. Like, I can be a bit more emphasis on their goals, which makes them more accountable. But also they know why they're there. Like, everyone's going to moan, it's hard and stuff, but you know the real reason now. A lot of trainers moan about their clients, like, oh, they don't have any effort and da-da. Usually I think that's because they don't know the real reason why they're there. So I always like, let me try breaking down. Some people are absolute arseholes anyway. And that's another reason to do the consult. You might not want to train them. Right. Cool. I don't want to get up at R5 just to train this person, because it doesn't like excite me based on what we just discussed. So, okay. So when do you want these results by? And usually you'll get three answers. ASAP. You'll say, I'm realistic, so I want to just keep going. It's going to be like, I know it's a bit further ahead. And then you get someone that says a date. I've got this holiday or this wedding that I'm working towards. So with the answers, how long do you think most people need to get any sort of results?
3 months.
3 months. So this is what I work with. 90 days, 3 months. So if they say ASAP, I'd say, okay, if we was to fast forward 3 months, what would you expect to see then? Or what do you want to see by then? You need to get their expectations, because if you're not meeting them, you're failing. So imagine if they've said, I want to lose 20 kilos. If you don't find out when by, like until you've hit 20, you're failing again. So say, I want to hit 20 kilos. Okay, you said ASAP as well. Okay, let's take it to 3 months. Like, what do you expect to see? What do you want to see by then? And you'll be so surprised how many people will be like, well, and 3 months is not a long time, so I want to see some change, but I don't want to see, I know I'm not going to hit 20. Straight away, it's great, I know that. But if you didn't get that, they want to see 20, because that's the number driven in their head. You'll get some people that say, I want all these results in 3 months. Might not be realistic, but you write it down, because that's their expectation. But when you come to the presentation, you have to really showcase what that looks like. I'll come on to that, because that's quite a powerful bit. You get some people say, I know it's not going to happen straight away. Bring them back to 3 months. Okay, so their end goal was like, I need to lose 30 kilos. I've been told I can't have a kid until I've lost this much weight. That could be an example. We don't know when, so we say, let's bring it back to 3 months. Because no one is guaranteed to stay with you for 6-9 months, no matter what they say. Something could come up, someone could die, they might get moved out a different area. So we don't know that anyway. So bring it back to 3 months, get their expectation then. 25 is the main goal, but I'd be happy with 8 kilos to start with. Great, that's my plan. And you're breaking back from that to hit their goal. And again, your check-ins are going to relate to their expectation of their first checkpoint. Within this section, how soon are you actually ready to start on this? Have to ask that in this question. Well, when do you want to go by this? It seems like you've been thinking about it for a bit. Normally they say, I want to go straight away. This just sets you up for the excuses for when they say, I need to think about it. What do you need to think about? You tell me that you're ready to go straight away. You're hitting that, it's just an excuse when people say, I need to think about it. Like I said, it's like, shit, this is happening now. What do you need to think about? And you hit them with that question. And it's like that I think that's a skill. But you have to, if they told you how important it is to them. I'm here to help. Why are we waiting? You've told me you want to go, you've told me how fed up you are, and da-da-da-da. Why are we waiting? That's the way I'd be, because I want to help them. I'm not trying to sell to them anymore. You've told me. So I always say throw that in to start with, because it's really easier to play back on again. If you don't, it's quite hard. How else would I finish that one? Expectations. I think that's pretty much it on that one.
What was the last one again? How
ready are you to get going on this? Or you've been thinking about this a lot. It seems like you're quite keen to get going straight away. What's stopping you get results? That's quite a good one to ask as well. So they might tell you where the barriers are. Again, we find strategies. So majority of my session would be on that section there. And another rule on this one, this should be a conversation. It shouldn't be question, answer, question, answer. It's not genuine. So that's why I've got the 5 steps. It's like, let me just cover them. I can take it wherever it goes, but I'm generally interested in it. But as long as I hit them boxes, I've pretty much got a vague picture of what they want. So I always say, try to avoid that. Just keep it them 5. Right. And again, naturally, that it just comes off the top of your tongue after. So next, then I go into, okay, got the goals. So tell me, at the moment, I ask 5 questions. So previous and current exercise. So there's 5. So give me as much information as you can. And say, tell me what you're currently doing. What have you done before? So that's the first 2. Getting to talk. They might have been like, I'm training 4 times a week. I was doing cardio. What sort of cardio was you doing? What you're training? You're finding out. Because they might have had stuff that's completely worked for them before. Go with the stuff that has worked for them. How many times a week were you training? If they've done it before, how come you're not training at the moment? What's stopping you? Genuine interest. Next question is the third question. What do you hate doing? I like this question. I hate burpees. I hate running. I hate this. Doesn't mean you're never going to do it. But do not give it to them on their first few sessions. I hate boxing. And then every trainer puts their boxing gloves on. They don't want that. Again, go back to that analogy. Give them what they want. And all these things are lining up for their excuses. You're just literally got an answer for all of them. And again, it's just excuses they're going to throw at you. So what do you hate doing? Next question. What's the best shape you've been in? Or when was you at your best? When did you feel good? Take them back to the time that they did feel good. Because it's a powerful question. You get some people you know what? I haven't been good since university. That's 25 years ago. Great, let's make this the best you've been for a while. Let's bring them years back and stuff. Put excitement to it. You also get people I've never been in good shape. Great, in my head I'm everything we do is going to be progression. And I'm going to show, show and progress. I'm going to show them everything you're improving on. Told me when you first come in you hated it, look at it now. What else is a good one? They might have said I was best shape 3 years ago. What was you doing 3 years ago? I was training every day, I was eating well, and da-da-da-da. Again, when we come onto the packages and they only pick 1 time a week and they want to be in the best shape they've been, Like, remember when you was in your best shape, what was you doing then? You're like, fuck, okay, maybe I've got to up it a bit more. Again, get the expectation, get them realising this is, if you want to do it, we're going to do it together, but you've got to put it in. And last one is injuries, any injuries. And you are not an injury specialist, so you're not expected to know. And the problem with you'll get some clients try to be the senior person or the in control. They'll throw these random words at you and multiple scoliosis, all this sort of stuff. Just write it down. It's great. You could even say I work with people. Phil does this. You don't. Well, that is a backup. Just write it down. Great. What's restricting you? How long for? Just try to find out a bit more information on there. Because usually, again, they're just excuses. Like, oh, I've had a bad knee all my life. It's like, that's kind of a limited belief if it's that. So I'm just writing it all down. And again, I'm looking for reasons what's going to stop them getting results in best time. And also, if they've said something, I want to then come in as the professional person to say, I've researched this is where we're going to start, this is what the journey looks like. We're going to pay attention to that one, but by 6 weeks, we're not even going to, like, you're not even going to be like mentioning it. It's going to be a completely different one. Get them excited about it. So that's the 5 questions there. Again, just think them 5. What have you done before? What are you currently doing? What don't you like? What's the best shape you've been in, or when was the best? Just be careful how you word that based on their goals, because some people, it's not about their shape. You're going to be surprised, actually. Our industry is very like weight loss is a bad thing. Like, we shouldn't pay attention to weight loss, shouldn't pay attention to calories. Right. This is what a lot of people. So I'm like, how would you measure progress? Scales. Some trainers are like, you shouldn't pay attention to scales. Again, some people weigh themselves every single day. I might not see that as healthy, but for them, that's what they do. So if I tell them, no, don't weigh yourself every day, they're going to weigh themselves every day. That's the way. So I work with it. What else does weight loss mean? And again, we coach them into other things. Let's see that you're improving on the other ones as well. So where else I going with that one? Where else I going with that? I can't even remember what I was going with that one. Previous exercise history. All right, I'll leave it on that one.
Make them feel good.
Make them feel, yeah. Then the next one is new.
The best, or when were you?
Yeah, when you're in your best condition and stuff as well. Yeah, so sorry, just be careful the way you word it, because some clients will be like, it's not that way, and they're 122 kilos, so 240 pounds. No, it's not that way. I want to be more energized. This is a true scenario. Again, no judgment from me, but weight loss, I think, for some people, they just don't want to admit they want to lose weight. So I'm like, what does more energized look like? Well, I have slumps in the day, and I'm just trying to find out like what that looks like. Fast forward now she's been educated, she's lost 9 kilos, which double that's like 18 pounds. And now she's got this goal, she wants to get below this and this. So that was for that person, but she was too ashamed to admit that to start with. And she also said, I've never lost weight before. So there's a stigma there, but normally it's because people don't know how to do it, and the trainers don't know how to do it. So be careful the way you phrase things, because sometimes we'll say something that they think they want, like, oh, lose weight. They didn't say that, even though you might think it. So just be careful on that. So the next section is nutrition and lifestyle. So this is my approach to nutrition, and again, you can do this however you want to, but I always say on the consult, you want to just find out what a day looks like to them, and you're not educating them or anything like that on there. It's literally, first of all, a good coach is going to be doing stuff outside the studio as well. Like, for you to get results with your client, I'm only training you 3 times a week, the rest of the time is your time. But at least with nutrition, I can put in coaching strategies. There could be check-ins, there could be take photos of the food, there could be anything. But for them to really get results, it's like a whole package. So I'm like, let me just find out, where could we get our quick hack straight away? They could be smashing a smoothie every morning, and when I find out what's in it, it's like 1,000 calories of healthy food. They're smashing that back. If they cut down on half of that, that could be the area where they're getting results. So it could be a bad or good food, but they're overeating, or they're just having too much crap. Like, it could be anything. So I'm just getting a good picture. So this is the way I approach nutrition. I always say that I do all the nutrition consults. I will never tell you that you're not allowed out anymore, you can't drink no more, and all you're allowed is chicken and broccoli. I will never say that. straight away it happens every time. They're agreeing with you, like, oh my god, they're not going to just tell me what I can and can't have. What I will do though is I'm going to educate you on being accountable for what you're having. I'm going to get you to see what that looks like in reference to your goals. But you're going to have the ownership of your own choices. And by like a few weeks in, you're going to know the reasons why you're not building muscle or losing weight, whatever their goal. You're going to know. You're going to walk in here every week and you'll say, Harry, I've been out this week, I've done this, done that, I'm not expecting to go up. Or you'll be like, I've nailed it this week, it's going to go. They'll know. And I think that's the beauty of it, because when they've had a bad week, there's no like, oh, it's not working. Because I get them to the point where they tell me, look, I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't do, but this is what this is how you're going to get results. And all I expect, one finger, one rule, just tell me the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, clients don't tell their trainers because they feel bad, or they feel like they're letting them down, or they're going to get judged, where it's like, oh, it's like, I'm the other way. It's like, if you fucked up, tell me, because at least we can do something about it. If you hide from it, and every time we have our weighing and stuff, it's like, oh, it's not working, but deep down they know. So I always try to give them that trust that they can tell me on all that sort of stuff as well. And again, their goal might not be that strong enough. If each week they're not doing it, and they said that was a goal, maybe it's not. And again, we go back in, and that's 4 weeks, nothing's changed. And you're telling me you're doing this, this, and this. What's the problem? Get them to tell you. Oh, duh. Okay, let's find a strategy for that. And your strategy for that 1 week, you're going out 5 days a week drinking. Can we cut that down for 3? Or better question, ask them the question, what can you do differently from that? If you're going out and you can't do anything better, what can you do differently this week? They'll be like, you know what, I can go out 3 times this week. That's their goal. End of the week, how many times you go out? 3. Amazing, well done. Straight away it's like, oh, this is working, I'm achieving something. A lot of people come to you and they've never got results ever, or they've never felt like they've achieved anything. It's all changing when they're with you. Everything you're achieving, every time. Could be even a check-in. This week you're checking in with me twice. Amazing, you checked in with me twice. It could be that simple, because they've never had that person to be accountable for. So look for your wins always. Mm-hmm. So nutrition, I always say that first of all. So not going to go into it today. Can you just give me what a normal day looks like from when you first wake up to when you go to bed? And I write breakfast, lunch and dinner on the sheet. And they just tell me, I'm just writing it down. And then I say coffee. They might say da-da, and I say, is that black or latte and stuff? Again, I'm looking for quick hacks. If they're loading up with milk, that could be one strategy. If they're having 6 a day, we could cut down from that. They can lose loads of weight just that alone without anything else. Alcohol, everyone drinks quite a lot. There's calories in there. How many times a week do you go out? What would be like a normal night out for you? They're never really honest with you. Alcohol is a horrible question to answer. You can just write it out, because they might be social people. For you to tell them they can't go out anymore, it's never going to happen. If they've only got like 6 weeks till their wedding, I'm like, you're going to have to cut back on somewhere. It's a big day. Again, I use that to it, so they understand the importance of it as well. Nutrition, what else? Where do you feel like nutrition's letting you down? Or what's your weakness? Because they might say things and actually it's not that bad, and they're just beating themselves up for it the whole time. So I'm a big believer that calories are the most important thing, and like you'll see that people beat themselves up when they have some sugar, some chocolate and stuff. And if you're looking at calories over a week and they don't go over, they will lose weight, 100%. So sometimes it's getting people to understand, like, there are going to be days where you do go out for a 3-course meal and you're going to have dessert and stuff. That's fine, but we can spread it. So that'll be another workshop we'll go through as well, because within 2 weeks they'll lose weight, 100%. And it's not difficult. You haven't done any restriction at all. You've actually given them the freedom to eat what they want. We just take ownership of it. And that approach to someone going, this is a meal plan, you have to have this all the time, it's got to be white eggs and da-da-da-da. They're never going to do it. They might not even like half the shit on there. They haven't got the time to prepare for it. They're never going to do it. My approach is, I'm not telling you what to eat. I'm going to educate you on what energy balance looks like. I'm going to ask you to track initially, because I want you to get an understanding of what that looks like in terms of the education. Because again, that creates awareness. So if you start seeing that your weekly goal is say 15,000 calories for the week, and you're going to lose weight, if you now start having a night at the cinemas and you have your pick a mix and that, and you see you've done 4,000 just in that one sitting, you're going to be like, shit, I can't do that again, or I'm going to have to cut back somewhere else. Not me going, you're not allowed this anymore. is they start being aware of it. They know what they can and can't have then. And if they want something like that, they just got to weigh it up. I really want this pizza. I know it's going to go well over my calories for today. For the next 4 days, I'm just going to reduce it slightly. Balance. That's why it's giving them ownership and taking control of their own choices. So that nutrition, that's all I normally spend on that one. Lifestyle, like usually that's like going out for dinners and stuff like that. And again, I think that's important to try and dig on that one. Like, do you eat out regularly? Because if they're going out like 4 times a week and they say it's too expensive, 4 times a week, I look at it 4 times a week, $100 or $150, $400 a week going out. They tell me they can't afford $1,000 a month. Priorities haven't changed yet. That's what I highlight. Like, going out 4 times a week, you tell me how important it is. Is there any negotiating on that? Well, like $100, mostly they spend double that, some of these people. That's the thing, that it's just priorities. But the problem is that I wouldn't spend $400 on a night out. So I think, oh, it's expensive because I wouldn't spend, like, and again, it's just your limited belief. You don't know this person. So your millionaire client, that's nothing. When you say it's just once or twice, that's nothing to them. Don't think about price or how many times, think about how it's going to change them. That's priceless. How are you going to feel from that one? How are you feeling right now? I'm shit, I'm like miserable all the time, I get the dumps and stuff. What would it look like if you was complete opposite to that? Love it. Talk about that stuff. I've got a good coaching strategy that will work with this as well, so you can come on to that. Next one's sleep. 2 questions. How many hours a night would you get on average, and what's your quality of sleep like? That's all I ask. And usually you'll find that people, they don't sleep well enough, or they don't know. So one of my first things is, you mentioned sleep. If you had a great 8 hours a night for the next week, how would that make the rest of your day? They'd be like, well, I have more energy, I feel better, I recover. Like, sleep has an impact on everything. And sleep, if you get just tracking for a week, it will be better the next week. Straight away. And if it's terrible, your job as a coach is, how can we improve your sleep? Like, let's look at what you do in the evening. They do work, emails to 11 o'clock. What can you do differently? I'm not going to do it after 11. They come up with it. Have you done that next day? Amazing. You see what we're doing? We're trying to empower them all the time. Sleep always brings out stress. I'm not sleeping well. Why? Work, kids, these are the barriers, and these are going to be some of the objections. But we can deal with that. Like, work is work. You can't change that. So let me make you more resilient in the gym. Imagine if you're firing up, you're strong, you've got more energy and stuff. How are you going to deal with work now? It'd be a lot easier. But that's why it's so important. These things have effect on everything else. Highlight that to them as well. Okay, so pretty much all that bit, you can see I've pretty much covered every single area. I've got their injuries, I've got what they like and don't like, what's worked for you before, maybe a question to do. You mentioned you've had a personal trainer. What did you like about them? What didn't you like about them? They're always late, they never did any programming, don't be late, always have a program. Like, they never contact me outside of the gym, it's just for the workout. When you're doing your presentation, like, I'm coaching, I'm doing this, I'll always programs, I'll show you the journey. Like, you're literally just ticking off the things that, like, they've had the bad experience before. Then the presentation. So you've got this information. So the way I used to do it is, like, I used to just go, this is what I do, we do this. After the consult we do your assessments, and then we do nutrition, and in the nutrition we look at calories, and I'm just telling them everything. I realised that was the worst thing to do, because they don't need to know all that stuff. So after the coaching that I did, I changed my approach. It's like, I've got all the information about you, what would you like to know? What else would you like to know? What else would you like to know? What else would you like to know? So you're literally just covering what their things are. The price, what's the prices? We'll come on to that in a minute. What else? Like, you're just going to break down all they want to know. You're not going to talk about things. You might say, we can do movement and stuff like that, and they're like, I don't want to do that. Like, they don't need to know that stuff. So I'm like, just stay to the point and just say, what else would you like to know? Normally 4 times you've already answered it all there. But you can start seeing what their kind of holdback is. the price is, I've seen on the website, it's this, this and this, can you explain that to me? Yeah, great. So these are the packages, based on what you said, this is the one that I recommend, and that's the way it'll go from that one. And then that's all I ask on that bit there. And then it's the close. So it's like, have you seen our prices before? I won't go into the pros too much, but that's how I normally see it. Have you seen our packages or have you seen our prices? They say yes, they're interested, and if you haven't closed them, you've missed something out. Because they already know the prices, they've come in for it. Mm-hmm. So there's something you're missing. So if they're going away and think about it, I'll go and tackle it. Like, I need to go and speak to my partner. What do you need to speak to your partner about? Is it the product or the price? They won't admit the price, so they'll tell you the product, what's missing. And then you go and negotiate a tiny thing. There's a book called The Closer's Guide, The Closer's Survival Guide, or Survivor's Closer Guide, something like that. Grant Cardone. It's brilliant. It's like
Say it again.
Closer's Survival Guide. So he comes up, some of them won't be related to PT, but he comes up with every single objection and about 4 ways that you handle each one. It's so cool.
Okay.
He's like, fucking American, like really like salesy, but it's awesome. Like, I think that's a good one. And there's another book that's an hour long, Exactly What to Say. English guy, really, really powerful. So I'd recommend both of them. And again, I always say the close is the hardest bit, but keep going back to when it's always about price, especially when you show them and you see their face go again. That's just an excuse. Go back always to how would they feel when you're this one. So here's another thing that I'd say, put into your consult if you can, or try it. Because you'll get some people that are really out of shape, not enjoying life at the moment, all this sort of stuff. You say, okay, so we've got this. We've got a piece of paper.
Magazine?
Yeah, I draw on something for you. Just what I would do. I'm not sure if I've got a pen on here. This is gold. So these are the people who come in and they hate exercise, they're frustrated with everything. So this is how I would do it. I say, okay, so you tell me all this. I'd go like this. So I say this is just a scale of 0 out of 10.
Just show the camera.
No focus. Oh, there you go. It's not a 10. So you tell me all that. So 0 being the absolute worst, like the worst like it possibly can be. 10 being at your fittest, peak, happiest position. Right now, your current reality, where are you sitting on this line? And they normally go to 2 or 3. So I literally go like that. Current reality. Okay. And I say a bit of visualization now, but so at the moment you say you're 2. I'm going to take you to a 10 out of 10. So after 5 months working with me, I'm going to ask you the same question. And you're going to say 10 out of 10. And I give it some enthusiasm as well. I want you to close your eyes and say, trust me. I want to take you to 10 out of 10 now. So I'm going to ask you how you're feeling. You're going to say 10 out of 10. I want you to tell me how you feel. I want you to talk to me in present tense. So I am. We do it now. So imagine you're 10 out of 10. How are you feeling?
Say I am.
No. So and you answer I am feeling, or I
am feeling
10 out of 10, the best it possibly can be.
I am feeling 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh no. It's so you tell me how you're feeling.
Oh.
So you're 10 out of 10. You've answered I'm 10 out of 10. How are you feeling when you wake up in the morning?
Fantastic.
How's your day going? You're going to guide them through this process, and then you say to them like,
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get you to do it for me. So how are you feeling after the workout?
Strong.
How many times a week are you training?
3.
Are you enjoying the sessions?
Absolutely.
So you're telling me all the answers straight away. And I'm not doing anything. And you'll see this excitement comes out to them. I go to how's work now? When you go to work, I've got more energy, I'm more productive. Like that boss, I'm not bothered now. And then I'm like, what about your kids and family? I can put up with them, this what about your sleep? I'm sleeping, I'm waking up. And you'll just see all these things. They're telling me all the answers. They're telling me that I love it. I'm training 5 days a week. I'm not aching after the sessions. And then you just bring them back to right now. It's like you just told me all the answers. Like, how are you feeling? And they're like, oh. Boom, that's when you go and hit them. Look, you've told me 10 out of 10. Let's get you there. 5 months, we could do that easy. That's just a coaching strategy. I don't do it on all of them, but when I've got them grumpy old goats, when I've got them, I think that's a great one to do, because no one visualises. We always focus on all these other things, and I want these different results. Tell me what 10 out of 10 feels like, and guide them through it. So I'm feeling confident. How does your partner feel about you? I think I'm sexy and da-da-da, like, and it's like, whoa, and you just see it's all from within them. And that feeling they haven't had in a long time. And it's like, and again, hold the silence, hold the space, and it's just, oh. And I had one woman, I should do this, shouldn't I? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. This one. When you're going through your prices as well, you go through this, and this. That's all you need to do. One rule, don't justify it. You've already told your presentation, doesn't need to be, and I also do this and do that, doesn't need to be justified. It's just this and hold the space. And you'll see they're thinking, it might be uncomfortable, do not say anything. And then they'll answer. And don't say anything again. Like, let them think on it, and they'll be like, oh. And you might, normally it'd be like you want to jump in, what are you thinking, what's your frustration? Don't say anything. That was one of the skills we did, and we did 10-minute things with each other where you weren't allowed to say anything. They needed to tell me their problems, and you just held the space. And when they finished, you hold it, and then they go again, and they just start answering all their own problems, and they're unlocking all their own the solutions and stuff. It's really cool. But again, this is experience. Yeah. This is one that I throw in, especially if they're miserable, they're not happy, and you know that they're going to be below a 5. Take them to a 10. Tell them how long it's going to take. In 5 months' time, I'll ask you the same question again, and you answer 10 out of 10. I want to take you to that place right now. Trust me, close your eyes, some people feel uncomfortable. Say, tell me how you're feeling. Like, what's it feel like when you wake up in the morning? How's your energy? Maybe start with that, and then guide them through the day. When you go to the gym, how many times a week do you train? You said 3. Most people say, I'm training every day. Straight away when I'm doing my prices, get them up to that bit down. Yeah, and that's...
So do you base your this is off different from consultation, but do you base your prices of like how many times they train, or do you do like, here's a 5-pack, here's a 10-pack, here's a 20-pack?
No packs ever, just monthlies. But it'll be at number 1, we've got group classes as well. So it'll be silver, gold, platinum, 2 times PT, 1 class. But again, a class can be a program. 3 times a week PT, 1 class. 4 times a week PT, no classes. So I recommend all my clients to train at least 3 times a week. Anything less than that, they're not going to get results. So I make it clear from the start. If they don't want to train 3 times with you, it doesn't mean they're not training 3 times a week. They're going to do programs you follow because they told you how important their goal is, and if they only train once or twice a week, they're not going to get their goals. That's the way you have to emphasise it on the presentation. I missed a really important bit. You're going to get someone that says a goal, like, when do you want these results by? You've got 8 weeks, I want to drop 20 pounds. I'm like, fuck, that's, in my head, it's like, that might not be realistic. This is where, there's a debate on this, I think I'm right, but it's all about the client. So let's go even more aggressive. They want to lose 20 pounds in a month. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's quite a lot. Like, it's not realistic, maybe it's not healthy at all. Okay, this is what and the presentation, you told me you want to lose that much weight in a month. It's not a long time. This is what I believe it will take to do that. It's not something maybe I'd recommend normally, but this is what it takes. You have to train twice a day. You're not going out at all. You're cutting back on the alcohol. It's going to be miserable. You're going to get headaches and da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's going to be tough at times. I'm going to present all of what it will take. Can you do that? Yeah, I need to do that. And this is the way I always say it as well. How many times a week would you recommend your clients to come in?
Me?
Yeah.
3.
3. Why not more?
Rest days?
How many times a week do you train? Or before you're pregnant?
6, 7.
Why are you not recommending clients to train that? And this is, and I say the same. Why do you not recommend that? And again, it's just limited belief. So I always say it's trying to get out. So I recommend you to train 7 days a week. Doesn't mean you're going to do it. The minimum would be 3. I don't recommend you to do that. So that's the first question. If Brad Pitt coming here, how many times a week would you recommend him to train?
7.
Why is it any different? Why is it?
He's a movie star.
Again, We don't know the difference between anyone. We just label him because he's a movie star. But this woman's told you how important it is. It's her daughter's wedding and she's fed up the way she looks. That's important to her. And like, so I'm like, treat everyone as Brad Pitt. That's how many times you've told me how important it is, this bit. This is another way that I'd look at it as well. And I think this kind of sets it. So people argue it's not ethical, it's not maybe healthy. As a coach, this is the way I presented to it. I wouldn't normally recommend it, I admit that. I'm going to coach you through it. I'm going to ask you how you're feeling. And if you're feeling great and great, I'm going to guide you through the process. But the moment you start saying, this is fucking horrible, I've got headaches and stuff, we have that conversation, I step in and like, look, is it really worth it? But imagine your client is a young Brad Pitt, aspiring Brad Pitt. Imagine they got 8 weeks to drop that weight to get this film casting. So the 8 weeks that they are putting themselves through, let's say hell, like treat them as a sports person, it's going to be horrendous. But they get that acting job, they get paid £50 million and their whole career just takes off. Is that 8 weeks worth it? 100%, right? So who am I to say that's not healthy? So it's not my goal, that's my agenda. And our industry is like, no, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, that's not healthy, that's too long, too short. It's not I'm coaching them through it. So, like they told me the importance, it could change their whole life. That's the way that I got to train them. That's the powerful bit of it. And I tell them that. And I always say that, and there might be times where you don't want to go there. Like, it might be too aggressive and be like, look, I'm not comfortable doing this, so I can't take you on that one, and be honest with them. But too many people are like, yeah, I can do that, and they have to lose weight. Like, they have to get that weight loss. And you get some people, that's the importance to it. This is what we're going to work with, but I'm going to kick you up the arse. So you told me you have to do it, we're going to do it. But the moment that you're not, and we're not checking in and all this sort of stuff, I'm going to step in, and I have the right to, because you told me that's what I'm there for. And again, my approach changes. But there's a goal that we're working together, and it gets exciting when it's like clockwork then. Once they start seeing it, and this is why I say showing them progress is so important, because if they start coming after 3 weeks, and yes, their goal's 20 kilos, but imagine now, they're sleeping better, their buckle size has gone down in 1, they've got into a lower dress size which they haven't in ages, they've got more energy in the day, someone commented on them, how good does that feel? And again, your key, and I don't think trainers do it enough, is be assessing them regularly. We do it every single week, regardless if there is going to be much. Yeah, no one does. But then in their head, they don't have to get results because all they're doing is looking in the mirror. So again, highlight all the little wins every week, because then it's a progression. It's small things, but it's working every time, rather than going through the motion and be like, oh, I'm not getting results. They are, but you're not showing it to them, and they're not looking for it. So one of my key things is set them, and again in the presentation, you told me how important your stomach is. When we do our first session, we're going to take photos, but your stomach needs to be out. I get women pulling faces like that. I'm like, trust me, you'll thank me for it, but I need you to see the change. You told me how important it is for you. You've got your holiday coming up. I need you to see the change for you to believe it. I've got something that can sell this and get them to trust me. And I was like, because and always refer to other clients. Look, so I was like, one of my other clients, same thing. She pulled his face and I was like, trust me, you'll thank me for it. Let me show you the photo. Straight away I get the buy-in then. I'm like, look, here she is. Didn't want to be there in that photo. Look at her now. Like, look how proud and taller she is. But she didn't want to be there. And then she said, I'm not doing it. I'm like, when I do interviews with trainers and I ask them to tell me what they specialise in, they say fat loss transformations. I say, can you show me some results? And they can't. I'm like, why not? Client didn't let me take photos. For me, that just tells me, first of all, they haven't understood the importance of their client's goal, and then they don't know how to get them results. So if they told you the goal, I need to show them progress, they need to see it. Because every time, same scenario, that this kind of sets the nail on the head. So this guy didn't want his photos being taken. Every time he looked in the mirror, so this is towards the end because he moved to New York, but every time he looked in the mirror, there, he saw the flab, he's like, fat, it's not working, this guy's a grumpy guy. And like...
He looks grumpy.
Yeah, but like this is here.
Oh wow.
But he never saw it because all we looked in the mirror every day was this, and was never happy with it.
Yeah. Until
the moment we're like, well, look how far, and you saw it all unlocking in his head. It's like, fuck. and it gives itself a break. It's like, whoa, this is actually, after seeing that, and this is why we do it regularly now, after seeing that, trained harder, stop going out as much, recover better, because he believes it now. That is the key, is to get them to believe it. You have to show it to them.
Got it.
And to start with, it's going to 4 to 6 weeks. It's very difficult to see the real changes they want. So highlight all the other ones, the ones that happen instantly. That's the key. Sound good?
Awesome. I'm like motivated now. I'm like seriously motivated.